Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Audible Farm podcast. It is episode number 35. I can't believe I've done 35 of these already. Cheers to you guys for listening, and cheers to all the guests for joining me. This week, my guest is none other than Jake Merritt. That's right, Jake Merritt plays drums in a plethora of bands. Holy cow. We get into all of that in the podcast, so make sure you tune in for the whole thing. We've been talking about doing a podcast for quite a while, and we finally got it done. I've recently changed how I do things here at the Audible Farm podcast, and I have a little studio set up in the basement of my house because I'm classy like that, and then I also have a nice little portable recorder that I'm starting to take places. So I'm testing out how that works, and this is one of those tests. I showed up and met up with Jake. I guess we met up together after work one day. We work in the same town, so we met up after work and started talking on the podcast. We got about a minute or two in, and my recorder was full, and, go figure. So I formatted the card, we started over, and that's where we're sitting today with the podcast. I don't think we got too far, and the topics we burned through in the first recording were touched up in the second one. So I really appreciate Jake for sitting down and doing this with me. I didn't realize he was so talented, and he had his fingers in so many pies. So shout out to Jake. Check out this episode. It's going to be a great one. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Episode number 35 with Jake Merritt.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Okay, we're going to try this again. So I'm sitting down today with Jake Merritt. That's correct. Jake. Yeah, that's Jake. I got it right. So we tried this one other time. We got about a minute in. My recorder got full. I had to format the card and do a whole bunch of nonsense. But we're going to try this again. Unfortunately, the two of us have burned a couple of awesome topics.
No, we can revisit.
All right, I want to talk about, we discussed how you got started playing drums.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go over that again. You started how young?
Oh, I want to say I was like 5 or 6. It might have been later, but I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of how it started is my father is a drummer still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His father was a drummer, and his father was a drummer, so it's just this lineage of beating on things with sticks
all the way back. And
growing up, I'd go follow him with him to his gigs. He played in like dance bands, and so
it's like a big band type deal,
big band.
like horns and things.
Yeah, yep. Just old swing music, and
That's
cool.
cool.
I'd watch him set up and see what he was, see what he did, and how like people really got into live music and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And then one day he just brought home a pair of Phil Collins signature drumsticks, and the reason why they were Phil Collins is because they were just really small, for a pair of drumsticks, and me being small.
Yeah, you were saying that they're like, what, 8-10 inches tops or something?
They're like 13 or 14 inches.
It's
just short.
That's pretty short.
Yeah, and so I, just played around with those sticks, and he let me use one of his mini snare drums he had. And like in my bedroom, it was just kind of like set in a corner, and I would listen to some like CDs and try to tap along with it. And like I was telling you before, there was this Kiss record that came out like in the mid '90s. It was live. It was probably for like a reunion tour.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard like Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's Kiss Alive 3, but I'm
it
not
could
100%
be.
sure.
Yeah, it could very well be. But man, I listened to that thing just all the time, and I would try to tap out to what Peter Criss was doing, and like I became so obsessed that one year for Halloween I went as Peter Criss.
Nice. That's cool.
I remember there was like one girl came up to me, was like, "Are you a cat?" I'm like, "No, I'm Peter Criss. Come on,
Yeah,
like, get with it, little
Get
kid."
with the program. What's the matter with you?
Jeez, but yeah. And then it expanded, listening to other stuff, and he let me sit behind one of his kits he'd have set up like in the basement or somewhere else, and I would just kind of figure it out. But it always just kind of came natural, and I think maybe it's because I'm like really detail oriented. So like I
Yeah.
always like wanted to like, I'd see someone do something and I'd try to like mimic it. You
Uh-huh.
know, I did the same thing. I was obsessed with baseball when I was little. And I'd see like these, guys. We go to baseball games, just try to like imitate their swing. How they would like pick up a ground ball, how they would throw it, just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah.
but I kind of figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's like you're learning through imitation, which is actually
Right,
like
yeah.
one of the few things that sets us
Yeah.
apart as humans. Actually, there's
Yeah,
not too many
yeah,
others
yep.
others do that as far as species go. So
Totally.
it's-
Yeah, that's neat. But and then from there it just kind of progressed. I think I got my first like drum set, like my own. It was some like $50 thing they found. Someone was just selling it, and
yeah,
it wasn't anything spectacular, but it made noise. I had some cymbals, and I would just go to the basement. I would just play. I probably didn't sound the best, but got my coordination down, and got my timing down, and then.
What was some of the first stuff you tried tackling as far as playing?
Man. Oh, I'm sure Wipeout was in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
definitely.
that's like the Freebird for drummers.
Yeah,
someone yells Freebird, play Wipeout. Nice one.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
yeah, exactly.
It was there. From what I remember, like listening to Blink-182 for the first time with like Travis Barker was like a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Just because he was doing stuff that like I never heard before.
Yeah.
It was just incredible.
Yeah, he's got he's one of those guys that like obviously it's like a pop punk band. But
Yeah.
it's stretched so much further
Yeah,
than just
I mean,
being pop.
the guy's
punk drumming.
chops are just out of this world. But, so I like when I got Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. I'd listen to that, and
That's an album
yeah.
for everybody.
It's
that
an
doesn't-
album. Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Yeah, for everybody that doesn't know,
it's a good album. You should go find it.
yes, yes.
But I would try to play along with that. And, and then as we were talking before, it was like 2003. I heard the band Lamb of God for the first time, and
Yep.
that's like when I like got into metal.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with them. Most people it's like, oh, this is Metallica, it was Slayer, Anthrax.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I listened to those bands too, but it was just later on, it was Lamb of God that kind of got me in
Yeah.
that
Oh.
track.
See,
know?
yeah, I'm like mine was Maiden, but since then
Yeah.
it's exactly like you said.
Yeah.
Like Maiden's one of those ones. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that was the one,
Yeah.
And then I went Big Four after that.
Right.
So it
Oh,
was
totally.
Megadeth,
Like,
and Anthrax. And
Yeah,
such.
and so I started with Lamb of God, then I like Slipknot was there, Shadows Fall was a big one
Yep,
that I was like
yep.
super into, and that was actually my very first concert.
Oh, cool.
They were at the Hilton in Ames, and I think it was Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, Slipknot, that order.
Oh, jeez,
And like we were on the floor,
dude.
and I was like 14, 15,
Yeah.
just this sea of people.
Yep, I actually recall that show.
Yeah.
I recall a lot of people going to that.
Oh man, yeah. Then I got obsessed with like Joey, and then like Chris Adler was the drummer from Lamb of God. Huge inspiration on my metal playing. And then you start with these bands, and like, oh, I'll check out this band now, or this band. They're on tour with this band, so they got to be good. So that's just kind of how it like
Yeah, yeah.
branched out for me.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like,
Yeah.
I was lucky to have somebody that already liked all that music, and they were just
Right.
like one album at a time, one
Yeah.
band at a time. They'd start
Yeah.
feeding me stuff, and
Yeah.
then from there you kind of go off on your
Yeah.
own. Chris Adler, actually, speaking of him, I want to say I listened to a podcast not too long ago with somebody interviewed him. Do you know who Bill Burr, the comedian, is?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I want to say Bill Burr interviewed him on his
I
podcast.
bet because Bill's kind of a drummer himself.
Yeah, not bad either.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
I just listened to one podcast he did. He just went and saw Meshuggah,
Yep.
and he talked about Thomas playing Bleed. That drum part is just insane.
Yeah.
And that's if I could go see Meshuggah, they don't tour a whole lot anymore, and they don't get anywhere close. Maybe the cities, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was another band I really got into was Meshuggah, and
I mean, it totally makes sense, like the progression too, because
Mm-hmm.
as far as like you're a drummer, so you want to go for the stuff that involves the most
fast,
the
technical,
technical
and
stuff.
and that was me just still kind of being like, ignorant to what you can do with drums too. You know?
Well, that's the thing though. Is like some people think it's the same deal with guitar. This guy's shredding.
He
shreds so fast.
Sweeping
he's
so fast.
He's so good. But it's like, well, can he chicken pick? You know? And you just go down the line. It's like I talked about this with somebody else in a podcast recently. Like, depending on what style you're gonna play, there's tricks to the trade in each one of those styles that make you good.
Like,
so.
You know, is he making noise or is he like making music? You know?
Yeah, you know.
And you know, being in high school too, like metal was perfect for that. You know, teenage angst.
Oh yeah.
Remember riding around and I had a 91 Lumina with somewhat decent speakers in there. I
was gonna guess Lumina just because. So.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
car, may it rest in peace. Pieces. But yeah, we just like me and a few buddies. We would drive around just listening to whatever. You know, if it was loud, cool. But and then at that time period, my brother Greg was at Iowa State, and he met like a bunch of new friends down there that they were into like different type of music, more like alternative rock at the time.
Yep.
You know, some heavy, some not. And when he'd come home, he'd bring like CDs they'd burn for him, and so like he'd give me some. I listened to that, so I really got into. Seosin was a big one.
Okay.
So it was still kind of heavy.
But just not overall mainstream.
Nah, like yeah. God, who else? We just found my CD booklet of like all this stuff. Like Alkaline Trio was in there too.
Oh, cool.
Just a huge array of whatever stuff I didn't hear.
Yeah.
So,
well, that used to be like to everybody that has MP3s and
that was the way to do it.
iPods and phone stuff. Dude, my car used to have the car that I used to have had like a 200 plus CD. I call it the Bible, and just get something out of there. And if it wasn't in there, I had it on cassette somewhere. And I just had like stacks of CDs and cassettes in the back seat of my car.
You'd have to make the trip to Target or Walmart to get the stack of blank CDs, you know. And like, sweet, this is gonna last me for a month, so I'm just gonna start burning everything. But yeah, so I mean, Greg going to college was a big thing, just because he introduced me to like a lot of stuff I still listen to now. Like a band, one of my all-time favorite bands, Manchester Orchestra.
Never heard of them.
I mean, they're a rock band, but it's like
I'll have to check them out.
Just incredible songwriting, and he introduced me to that stuff. And so, but then the saga continues. So as I go to college for music, I went to Iowa Central here first, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
If you live in the area and, you're out of high school or, you don't know what you want to do yet, I mean, you can go there,
Yeah, I mean, I'll vouch for that.
Well, I mean, you're recent.
I very serious. Like, as we're recording this tomorrow, I graduate. So,
that's right. Yeah. So, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Also, kudos to anybody who's done any of that stuff, because I didn't realize how hard it was until I actually went out and tried to graduate from something.
Yeah.
So kudos to anybody, everybody graduating.
And the music program there is killer. And it's a lot bigger now than when I was there. I think this is my 10-year reunion when I graduated there. Yep, 2009. Cool. So, and since, it just gets bigger and bigger. So, did that. Then I finished up at Buena Vista, and I still did music there.
Oh, cool.
And that's where I did, like, recording production.
Nice.
So I did that. And then I also had another major in, like, arts management.
Okay.
With an emphasis in instrumental music.
Cool.
Which, basically, I took all the classes a band director would, minus, like, the ed classes.
Yep.
So, I still had to do percussion lessons, and I had to take conducting, music history, music theory. So, I went through the gambit of that, and I'm glad I did. And I tell you what, I mean, I got my ass kicked a lot, but it really disciplined me to, like, man, like, I've been a hack this whole time. I'm just... You
say you got your ass kicked, and that's not by, like, bullies at the school.
No.
The music people.
The bullies were my professors.
Yeah.
But there was just so much that, I still didn't understand. And, at that age, you think you know everything. And now, I've just... I don't know everything. I will never know anything about everything about drums,
Yeah.
because you can always learn,
Uh-huh.
You never just want to like settle for what you got now.
I always feel like that's the like most painful part about like learning an instrument is the better you get at it, the more you realize the less you know, and it just keeps getting worse and worse or better and better the farther you get into it. Because I mean, even if you understand things in concept, it's just like, but this guy's doing it differently, and that guy did something differently, and there's not really a whole lot of rules, even though there's a set of rules,
Yeah, and it really humbled me out too, because like in high school, I went to high school in Manson, and being a good drummer there, you're like, well, I'm really good. I really don't have to try to learn anything more. I'm already at the top here. You just kind of get that arrogance to you. And even a little bit in college, but in high school, my junior and senior year, I was selected for the Iowa All-State Jazz Band.
Yep.
So I represented 3 classes as like the jazz drummer in the state, and that's another time I got my ass kicked 2 years in a row.
Dude, yeah, I watched a couple of those, the Iowa jazz competitions.
Yeah,
what was it they called Jazz All Stars, something like, I can't remember what they called it, but it was that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
There.
And
it's crazy they're all high schoolers too.
Yep. But man, the 2 directors I had those years, I mean, they are like professionals. And my God, like I said, they just chewed my ass. But I tell you what, though, that was one of the greatest things, though, because it made me like, I need to work on this.
Yeah.
And I really need to like focus. I need to listen to the greats if I want to understand this type of music. And like since then, I've just been in love with like jazz and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing like the drums. You're playing an instrument that can. You can still make melodies with a drum set. That's one of the biggest, like...
That's the thing that I feel so many... And it's not, I'm not cracking on drummers, but as far as I'm, like, I tried learning how to play the drums, and I can go boom cha, but that's not like what you're talking about. That's not the melody of the drums.
Yeah.
The craziest part about watching like jazz drummers is it's like you're not using the snare to keep time. You're not even using the kick drum to keep time.
Yeah.
And it's like all the time you're keeping is coming off of like a cymbal and a tom somehow. And it's like this is insanity.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not how they teach you in the beginners classes.
Exactly. Yeah. And for the longest time, I was always a drummer. I was never a musician. So those college years taught me how to be a musician. Yeah. And since then, that's what I still work on. Is like, how can I be a better musician rather than just 2 and 4, just being in the back. So,
it's a little bit more than just 2 and 4 and then sliding into the pocket and calling it good.
Yeah.
And I get that too, because I've run into the problem of like, what do I call myself? Am I a musician? Because, I'm not a composer. I don't write music, which would kind of delete me from being an artist in a sense,
right?
Audibly at least. And I don't necessarily write a whole lot of my own music, so I'm not sure if I'm like 100% a musician or just an instrumentalist, or what it is. But I'd feel where you're coming from, man. It's that thing of taking it to the next level.
It's not to get philosophical, but it's a never-ending journey. It's a lifetime of learning things. The more people you play with, the more different type of stuff you play. Yeah. Really makes. If you'd have told me, like 10 years ago, like you're going to be playing with the Fort Dodge Symphony, Carl King Band, a jazz trio, a country classic rock, band, a punk band, all at the same time. I've been like, shut up, no way. But that's what I do now, and I love it, man. Like Sunday, I played with the Choral Society. I played timpani.
Cool.
And we did a Puccini piece,
Nice.
And it was awesome.
That's cool.
And
it's also cool that you can like respect and enjoy all of the kinds of music, because it's not like you're just like metal and only metal. Because if it's not metal, your music sucks. You play it all. Yeah. And
I'm so glad. I just didn't like when I was in the metal thing. I just didn't stay there.
Exactly.
Because I could have become as great as I could playing metal.
Oh,
but you just kind of like fizzle out. You like might max out. And then,
Yep.
Then you get burnt out.
Exactly. Well, it comes back to like in my analogy, it's like shredding guitar. Like you can get faster at shredding, but you're like you said, you're going to max out eventually, and then you just can't go any faster.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with drumming, I'm sure, you know, which is why I was discussing with somebody. I played a show recently, and I was discussing with somebody outside after the show about how not every song needs every trick from your bag of tricks.
Yeah.
So that's another one where like you can learn to pace yourself as a musician instead of just dumping
blowing it all at once.
Yeah. I mean, not every song needs every fill in every spot.
Overdoing it.
But I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your bands though. You
bands.
Okay.
Yeah,
you mentioned quite a few bands.
Yes.
Here, so,
well, there's the big two.
Yep.
Jay Clyde Band, which you've had Ronley on the show before.
Yep. I actually played with Ronley at a jam night.
Dude,
it was so fun. He's so good.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
Yeah. I remember playing Stranglehold, and I was like, it's an A.
Yeah.
You're doing this.
Yeah. I've played with, God, we've known each other. Well, we met at Iowa Central.
Cool. That's awesome.
He, I think it was his first year of college, and he probably told you this in the podcast too, but he was at UNI, I think, for a semester, and then he came to Iowa Central that second semester, and the first time I saw him, I was showing up for jazz band rehearsal, and some asshole in a 5150 shirt comes in with a guitar. I'm like, who's this turd? I heard him play. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then, like, we started hanging out and found out, he's a good dude. And, I mean, he just lives, eats, and breathes guitar. Yeah. And it's cool. And he's a fun dude to hang out with. He's just funny. He's got the corniest jokes I've ever heard. But
oh man,
Ron, I love you, buddy.
I love the 5150 shout out. That's Eddie Van Halen.
Yep. Is the that the red with all those weird lines and stuff.
Yep.
So, but so that's when we met, and
that's pretty cool.
We've been playing together for a long time. And the other band, Riddled with Class, which you just had Nick on again recently.
Yep.
I think this is year number 2 that I've been with them. And how I hooked up with Nick and Levi, a couple summers ago, Jay Clyde was kind of just taking like a little break, like a summer off, just because, we've been playing for years, just nonstop all the time.
You guys had a big schedule. Almost all the time.
All the time, and
it's pretty wild.
We all just kind of agreed, like, hey, let's just slow her down, and it was great for a couple months, but then we all realized, like, oh, we need to play something.
Yeah, isn't that weird how you're just like, I'm burned out on this, and you take like, it seems like just like a week off, and you're like,
I got to get back on it.
I'm so bored. I got to go back to doing all this stuff.
Yeah, and Nick, I've always kind of known of. Like, I didn't like know him well. Like, I had seen him at a few gigs. I saw him when he was in H-Town Hooligans. And then when Riddled kind of started. And he'd come in the store every once in a while. And while Jay Clyde was on that break, he came in and I'm like, hey, man, if you ever need a drummer to fill in, like, give me a holler. Because, like, you play all this stuff I love, like, listening to. Some of that 90s rock. Blink, just... was right up my alley.
Everything from like the 2000s pop punk-ish all the way to like the early 90s, like you said, alt rock, like Rage.
And then Levi, who plays guitar and sings, is from Rockwell City, so he was just down the road from Manson.
Oh, cool.
But really, the only thing I knew about Levi was he was a tall guy that rode dirt bikes. I'd met him a few times through mutual friends, but I didn't realize he like played guitar or sang until Riddled with Class, and then like I heard him play and sing. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Levi, my God!
Yeah, that was something else. I think I remember talking to Nick, and he was just like, "Yeah, Levi was just like, yeah, I'll give it a go." And it was, you go a couple of practices, like, you're in, okay, I didn't know you could do it this good.
And then my brother Greg, who plays bass in Jay Clyde, he really didn't have anything going on, and he's a really good guitar player. He actually started on guitar before he went to bass. As do most bass players probably started as, well, I like playing guitar, but we need a bass player.
Yeah.
Greg made the sacrifice. So, and he picked it up like it was nothing. You know? I mean, he got on so fast. So, I'm like, Greg's not doing anything. And, it was just Levi, Nick, and I, so guitar player, singing, bass player, drums. Like, let's maybe add Greg, as a rhythm. And Greg's got a really good voice. So, adding some harmonies and whatnot. So Greg kinda, I think he jumped in like 2 weeks after I did.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then the next summer, Jay Clyde, we kind of picked it up again, and we make time for both.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be done.
Yeah, that's one thing I think is crazy because both of those bands have crazy schedules.
Yeah,
like,
and I think Nick mentioned when he was on last time that Riddled has really got a lot of big shows.
Yeah, in the last year or two they've blown up.
Which is cool, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Greg and I, we make it work easy. And then, I'll play with, like I said, the Fort Dodge Symphony.
Yeah, that's really cool too, man.
So that way I kind of keep up with my, orchestral percussion chops.
Yeah.
Carl King Band, if they need to fill in, I'll do it. That's always fun.
And for that kind of stuff, you're reading sheet music.
Yeah, it's all reading.
I mean, most of the other stuff, I'm assuming, no sheet music. Obviously, you're not playing.
Not
sheet
really.
Music in Jay Clyde Band or something.
No, I mean, if there's a song that has a tricky part, I'll write it out. I'll actually notate it.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And then, I like to make kind of road maps of the songs. That way, I have something to look at. That way I don't have to, all right, I'm going to listen to 10 times in a row and just assume that I have it memorized.
Yeah, exactly.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Yep.
Unfortunately, but
that honestly, that seems to be the trick that most drummers use. And I'm touche. I mean, I understand it too because
and it's a roadmap is what it is.
Yep.
So I'm not going to notate everything out because I don't have the time or patience. To try to figure that out. So, but
is that something that you learned while going to school for music and stuff? Like that?
Yeah, reading. I read music very well. I did 4 semesters of theory, so which I'm really glad I did.
Yeah.
Because it kind of makes you look at music a different way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I just took one, and one was enough to make me just be like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, man.
It's like somebody was just like, "Look what's behind door number 3," and they open it. It's just Oh, but it was so crazy, dude. It was so crazy.
And I'm not a theory snob. Well, actually, it's raised forth.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I learned it because it makes you appreciate that type of stuff. And, the people who came up with those ideas.
Yeah.
And now it's a part of this, music theory verse.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I look at some of that, and it was music when it first started was so basic that they didn't have bars. They sang everything in a circle, and then they started back over, and you come back to the circle and start. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, let's put beats in here, and then we figured out that a third harmony sounds good, and a fifth harmony sounds good, and so they just started stacking stuff in one thing at a time, throughout history until we have this complex music theory that we have today.
So I always think how harmony started if one dude was just singing something, then another guy just screwed up the note, and they're like, "Oh shit, that sounded good."
Yeah, or if it was someone that was a perfect third tone deaf or something.
Exactly. Totally. We don't know. That's probably how it happened.
It could have happened. You never know. Somebody had a cold and.
Right. Yeah. Where were we? Oh, groups. Okay. My other big thing is I play with a fellow by the name of Gabriel Alves.
Yeah, I want to say I've heard this.
He's a jazz pianist, and we also have Alex Trevino who plays bass.
Oh man, a wizard.
He's great, and he's just the nicest dude.
Yeah, I've only interacted with him a couple of times, mostly online, but he's super nice guy.
He's extremely talented. He's extremely humble.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, my talent bucket's pretty empty, and sometimes I can fly off the handle with how cool I am.
Yeah,
I get it, man.
Yeah, but Gabriel, I met him at Iowa Central, and he's from Brazil.
Dude, that's cool.
And when he got here, he did not know a lick of English.
Whoa.
Just, yes, no, maybe, where's the bathroom?
Yeah. That's wild.
And he and I sat next to each other in my first theory class out there. And he had already been to school in Brazil. He went to a school for music.
Oh, cool.
And he's just an incredible piano player. And jazz was his thing. And coming to Iowa Central was kind of one of his ways of getting into the United States.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to come here and play jazz.
Yep.
And over time, he would, pick up English a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And then he and I just became best buds.
Yeah.
And the guy just... I've never seen someone practice an instrument as much as he practices piano.
That's cool.
I think he would practice like 4 hours a night.
Oh, that's crazy cool.
And,
dude, you gotta imagine practicing 4 hours a night. You would get good in a hurry.
Yeah, so he finished up at Iowa Central. Then he went to Briarcliff in Sioux City, and he just did music. He played piano. I think he worked on a lot of his like classical chops there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to grad school at Northern Illinois, which is like one of the best schools to go for jazz studies.
Awesome.
So he got his master's there. And,
jeez.
I mean, when you watch him play, he is a master of the instrument.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
It is just so cool. And he went off and he would play on cruise lines.
Sweet.
So he would he'd go to the Mediterranean, the Caribbean. He has all these pictures he shows me. He's like, this is when I was here.
Oh, that is gnarly. That's so cool.
But yeah, he's got to play with a lot of people. And then he actually got a job in town, so he came back to Iowa.
Nice.
So we kind of reconnected, and so we do our little jazz thing. And he's just someone you have to go see and experience.
Yeah.
And
you guys got a Facebook page? I'm like,
we don't have a Facebook page. That's the only thing.
Like,
but we're playing at River Hops, just a few doors down from here. Next Saturday. So from 7 to 9.
Let's see here. If
18th, I think.
Yeah, okay. This is actually the crazy part about this.
Oh yeah, we haven't told them where we're at.
This is going to come out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Not this Thursday.
That's
next
right.
Thursday.
That's right.
So the way this works out is it's Saturday.
Yes.
It's like 3 days away.
Yes.
You're going to be playing at River Hops, you said?
River Hops.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've actually been there. It's a nice place,
It's
man.
cool. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It's a neat space. But so that'll be cool. And then what's funny is right after that I have to beat Cheeks over to Sneakers because Riddled's got a gig. So.
Oh yeah, that's why I heard about this
Yeah,
show because
yeah.
Nick had told me about it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
but, I mean,
dude, I'm gonna have to try to make it to that.
yeah, it's nice having multiple drum kits because I can just have one here and then have one set up there.
Yep,
And just,
that's awesome. That's the only reason I ended up amassing more gear was I just got tired of dragging it around from place to place to place to place
Yeah,
to place to
yeah.
place. And it's like, man, if I'm going to be in two bands, it might be easier just to have something here and something
especially
there.
with guitars too, because like once you get that addiction, it's like,
Oh,
I
gosh.
can't stop, man.
Yeah.
What the line is.
I think I found a good spot to stop for
There
now.
you go.
know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
I'm trying to tell myself just don't buy.
Because what's the
anything
joke?
else.
What's your favorite guitar? And you say your next one.
Yeah. I've actually never heard that. That's golden.
Yeah, we had a
I love
customer
it.
in here. He said that once. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Dude, I bet you hear some fun music jokes here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I mean, we get a lot of characters in here.
You want to give a shout out to where we're at?
Yeah, we're at my place of work, Riemann Music, downtown Fort Dodge here. So
I've actually, I came here a lot back in the day. I remember when I first started playing guitar, I'd come here, and if there ever was an issue, I'd bring my guitar in here. Now, I know how to do it all myself. for the
yeah,
most part,
yeah,
but
yep.
It was nice to come here and have.
What's really cool is we don't, we just don't sell guitars, drums, pianos. We have like horns, woodwinds, stuff like that. And I've really learned to like appreciate those. I always have, but getting to learn more about them.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I decided I'm going to teach myself how to play the clarinet, and I got through like book 1 of a method book series, but that was it.
Well, let me ask you this then. So you took a bunch of music classes. You got a degree in 4-year degree in music.
Yeah.
What's the specialty of your music degree called?
Well, I did studio production at BV, so a lot of recording stuff.
Yep.
I worked with Pro Tools for 2 years, which was great. And then my other my other major was management with an emphasis in like instrumental music.
Okay. Because I know that, like, if you want to be a music teacher, usually you've got to be proficient enough at every instrument.
Yeah, and they have courses where, like, you're going to learn how to play woodwind instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next semester it's gonna be brass instruments. Then it's gonna be like percussion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I really didn't have to do those.
Okay, that's what I was kind of wondering. Like, when
yeah.
you said you picked up a clarinet.
It'd have been fun though. It'd
Yeah.
been really fun just to try them out. You know, I've tried playing trumpets and trombones and stuff, and it's cool because when you like try to play those and learn a little bit, you learn to appreciate them a lot more.
Bingo.
Too. Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine that was just like, I'm going to play the guitar. And it was like sweet. So I got him all set up to like, you know, we had a couple friends that had used cheap guitars. It was like, yeah, just buy one of these and you'll get a little amp and we'll get it going. And he gets it all plugged in and stuff. And he played it a couple times. He's like, this is so damn hard.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, dude, I'm never going to say this guy sucks at guitar ever again because it is so hard.
Yeah.
And so then he did the same exact thing with a drum set.
Yeah.
And you went through the same process. And he was like, dude, drums are so hard.
Right,
like,
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude, drums are like the mythical instrument as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. I mean, to you, it's probably just
Right, but
everyday stuff. But
you know, working here, it's really cool just because I've got to try things. You know, other than drums, I've played guitar for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, actually, when I came in here, you were playing guitar.
Yeah,
and it kind of threw me off. I was like, I thought this guy was a drummer.
I noodle.
You know, so.
I like to riff. You know.
Yep.
And I'll learn songs and stuff, but I always just like to just literally screw around. You know, play with the amps and get different sounds.
Do you do lessons here?
Yeah, I give drum lessons here too.
Cool.
So
Cool.
a lot of my students are just younger kids, which is cool.
You
Start
teach
from
them
fresh.
Do you teach like timpani or is it like snare?
We start with just a pair of sticks and like a pad and
Yep.
a snare.
The pad is probably the perfect way to go, so you don't make too much noise.
Yeah, and then when I feel like they're okay enough, we can like add the bass drum, you know, and then just slowly build from there.
That's cool.
Because kids come in just assuming we're gonna learn how to play the drum set. I'm like, no, we're gonna start fresh.
Yep.
You know, we're gonna learn how to hold the stick right, and we're gonna spend a lot of time on that because it's really important.
That is super important, especially if you want to be able to roll the stick at all.
Exactly, and I spent a lot of time with my kids. Like,
I wouldn't doubt it, man. Dude, it's super hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Yep.
I mean, if you got I'm sure if you got an instructor and like the right, if your drum head is tight enough, it's fresh and everything's perfect,
Yeah.
you get it done right.
Yeah.
But dude, it's not like me practicing in the basement on my own. It's tough stuff. That's one of the things that gets me so much about the drums is it deters me from playing them. It's not being able to
and it's
roll.
like any instrument you learn, it's just patience. You know, like when I was learning guitar, I would pick a song that was way beyond my skill level. But you get so pissed at yourself. Dude, I don't want to play this,
Yeah.
But then, you just kind of get over these little humps. And then that's just kind of how you progress,
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to play Van Halen right away.
No, but why is it that like as musicians we always kind of want to bite off more than we can chew?
Yeah.
It seems like,
Yeah.
I think it comes down. Some of it comes down to the perception. You don't think it's that hard, and then once you get into it, you're like, oh my god, this is so hard, and then you're like, all right, better dial it back.
And another thing that I hear this from a lot of like parents of kids who come in that they're in band, so they're like buying reeds or whatever. And they're like, yeah, my daughter, she's really into music. She's good at it. I was never good at it. I didn't have the musical touch, the ear. I'm like, nobody does.
Nobody does.
Absolutely nobody does.
No.
And it's never too late to learn something.
Bingo. Dude, I love that you brought that up because I taught, she was very driven herself, but I taught a lady that had to have been 80 how to play guitar recently, and that was like when I first started teaching guitar lessons. She was one of my first students I had, and she was just like, my husband died, I go down to Texas or something like that, you know, and there's guys that play guitar at this bar that I go to some nights, and I kind of just want to go up there and try and play along with them. And here's a couple songs they play. Do you think you can teach these to me? And I was like, yeah, I think I can, because it's nothing too hard to teach open chords to somebody. And goddamn, if she didn't learn how to do it. She was one of my best students ever. Like within 6 months, she went down there and she's like, I went down there and tried playing with him, and I did. And it was like, you're so happy when it's, and it's never too late. It's never too late.
We have an old timer that comes in. He started coming in, I think 3 years ago, came in empty slate. And when I say old, he's like 80s.
Oh, cool.
And, he came in, he's like, I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. So we set him up just with an acoustic. got him like a book to start off with, and he just taught himself. And if he would come in every once in a while, and he would just kind of show us what he's learning. And by God, like it was like 6 months later. He was just playing the hell of that thing. And then he decides he wants a banjo.
Oh,
so he gets a banjo, does the same thing.
Dude.
Comes back, I want to learn how to play the fiddle. So he gets a violin.
Whoa.
And he comes in and he just sits and plays, and it's like he's done it his whole life. But he's only done it for a few years. But
starting at like 70 or 80.
Yeah. And what it was is he found what worked for him. And he just kind of stuck with it. Like anything you're learning how to do, it's gonna suck at times. But like he figured out his system, and then he applied it to other instruments.
Yeah.
So now I think he plays like 4 or 5 different things now. It's crazy.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It's crazy. So, but it can be done no matter who you are. Like you can, if it's a harmonica, you could figure it out.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things about stringed instruments is you start to figure out there's parallels between them, even if they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're close. You can start to figure out what's what. Like I started playing the ukulele, and I haven't played it so much lately, but I gave a couple ukulele lessons, and after that I was kind of, everybody just kind of, ukulele was that instrument that was kind of like the guitar 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Everyone's buying one just to play it, and then they play it twice and put it down,
it's
unfortunately.
Done, it's a novelty.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what I did too. So I played a mandolin for a while just to try it because I was really into Chris Thile.
Oh, love Chris Thile. Punch Brothers. Oh, man.
I went and saw Chris Thile live with Bela Fleck.
Okay,
and,
that's right. Yeah.
The craziest thing ever. I was like, well, I'm going to go back to the car and drop some things off, and then let's just go walk around town. So we go back to the car, drop some things off, and on the way back past the arena, they're just like standing outside.
Really?
And I was like, I left my phone in my car because it was dead. I got nothing. I can't take a picture with you guys. And Chris was super nice. He was just like, hey, we're going to have this moment forever, and you'll remember this forever.
Was that at
so
the
don't
Civic
worry
Center?
about it. That was actually...
was it a Live From Here taping?
It was in Omaha.
Okay.
It was just those two.
Just those two.
It was one of those deals where it's like, don't take a picture at the show. So I took exactly one, and didn't get kicked out. So I was pretty happy about it. But
he's incredible.
Dude, just so wild.
Yeah. He played like a Bach piece. Maybe it was like a sonata or something for mandolin. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, and that's just the thing with starting to play those instruments really got me into it. Like Jake Shimabukuro is a ukulele player.
Okay.
And he's from Hawaii, and he's got a documentary called Life on 4 Strings. It's really good.
Okay, I'll have to check
But I started
that out.
going to see him live every time he comes around. He is just magnificent. The thing he got famous for was playing like While My Guitar Gently Weeps on a ukulele. He also played like Bohemian Rhapsody on a ukulele. He got really famous for doing that too.
Yeah.
But
I tell you what, that's the past few years. That's been a #1 seller is ukuleles.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, isn't it wild how? I mean, you actually get to see it all firsthand. But isn't it wild how good and inexpensive instrument is these days?
Yeah.
Like,
you can buy like a really well-made ukulele for like $100.
Yeah, like insanely well.
Yeah, nice tone wood.
Yeah, and even like a $50 one.
Yeah,
is not that bad for a beginner. Like,
yeah.
I'm just mind blown by that nowadays.
And it's cool. It's one of those things that just kind of gets kids or even adults, into playing an instrument. You know.
Oh, my fingers are too small. Here's a ukulele.
Yeah,
then.
try
It's only like $50. You can go find a used one on Craigslist for $30 if you really want to try.
Nylon strings. I mean, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not gonna shred your fingers or anything.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But
do you guys sell ukuleles here in the shop?
Yeah, we got them. They're like around the corner.
Oh,
on the wall.
I'll pass through the shop here on my way out.
If you come in around Christmas time, up front we'll have like 25 of them, and then in 2 days, like it'll be empty.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
So
that's so cool.
People really get into it, and it's cool.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Ukulele's super fun. You can make chords with just a couple fingers.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff online, just like instructional videos. I mean, you just go to YouTube and just type how to literally anything, and it'll come up.
Yep. And ukulele's getting to be one of those big ones where people are dumping ukulele videos all over the internet now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like another one, Guitar World has guitar tabs, and you can go to like ultimateguitar.com.
Ultimate Guitar.
But now they have ukulele tabs on Ultimate Guitar. So like you can type in songs, and it's like here's peace sells on a ukulele, and I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. But
Right,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like holy cow.
Seriously, any song you can find it
And
on there.
yeah, or just here's the chords for guitar, play it on a ukulele.
Yeah,
And it works.
yeah,
it's the same
it does.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
That's
really cool.
I wish I played more stringed instruments, and it's just such an inspiration to find people like that are willing to not give up in their older age.
Yeah.
and just keep
Yeah.
going. Because
Yep.
I mean, I'm only 30ish, and I get frustrated already. Just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm only this far at guitar. I didn't play it
Yeah.
for like 5 years, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
backtracked a little
Yeah.
bit there. But
And the cool thing I always think about too is like, if say you're a guitar player and you think you're a mediocre guitar player, you are the only person in the world that can do what you do
yeah,
on that instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just an interesting way of putting it.
yeah,
Like,
man.
I could play a simple rock beat, but I'm the only person that can play it like this.
Exactly like that, yeah.
And it's just, it's a cool way of thinking about it, and really kind of gives you confidence too.
Yeah.
Like going into a gig, like we'll play somewhere where there's other musicians that I know are just phenomenal. I used to just shit my pants about it. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God, they're watching me. Like they're gonna know every mistake I make.
Yeah.
Like I am so screwed. And then one day I just came to the realization, like, dude, they're not there to nitpick you, man. They're there to appreciate what you're doing.
Yep.
They're gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
They might see you, flub up, but
Yeah.
everybody does it.
Exactly,
We're human.
exactly.
And then realizing that, the way I just played this, I'm the only person that can do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and the area around here is really supportive as far as like
Yeah,
musicians going
yeah.
to watch other musicians play and not critiquing each other.
Yeah.
And it's not that other areas aren't this way, but there's a lot of back chatter. It seems like depending on where you go and
Yeah.
if you try to break into different areas around the state or
Yeah.
or out of the state even,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's really tough.
yeah.
But it seems like around here everybody just kind of accepts everybody.
And it's really cool because there's a good chance you've probably played with everyone in the area here too.
Yeah.
Thinking about it,
Yeah, I
whether
mean-
it was down at Patty's at a jam or just, it's really, I was thinking about that earlier, like, all the people you've had on the show, like
Yep.
in one way or another, I've played with them
Yep.
or I've seen them play, they've seen me play.
yeah.
So it's just a really cool network of, and everyone appreciates everyone,
Yeah.
which is really neat.
Dude,
I mean,
the jam nights are something that I just thought was so special because I always
Yeah.
wanted to get down, be able to play with some of these musicians. When I
Yeah.
finally had the chops to do it,
yeah,
they had a location to do.
Yeah.
And you go up there and it's like, I get to play guitar and Scott Dahl is drumming,
Yeah.
or I get to go play
Yeah.
guitar and Jeremy Ober's playing
Yeah.
with me, or like I was telling you, I got to play with Ronley
Yeah.
up in Bode one night, and
then you think there will never ever be this lineup ever again.
Bingo! Yeah, it's a
Like,
one-time only
yeah,
thing.
And that's what makes it. I mean, you could play the song and just screw it up, but no one cares. It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's about just playing. And getting to play with those people.
Yeah.
Too,
It's awesome too because like different regions have different people that show up to them.
Yeah.
Like the one in Bode, I actually got to play guitar with. Let's see here, Duran Watts was playing drums.
Okay.
And Duran Watts, like I worked with him like 15 years ago,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like, oh, you play drums, I play guitar, like we should
Right.
play together. We never ever
Yeah,
ever did.
yeah.
And all of a sudden we're at a jam night together and we're up on stage together, and it's like, can you
Yeah.
believe this? Like,
Yeah.
We talked about this, ages ago, half my life
Yeah,
ago, and
It's so cool. It's cool. And you meet these people, you
Yep.
know, and then it's just it's a bummer. I mean, it really is just a huge bummer.
yeah, the fact that Patty's is gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
Gina was she's such a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
going there for as long as I have and just seeing it be done. But hopefully something
Yeah.
new starts.
That just makes me sad that I didn't take advantage of it while it was there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like I did the last 2-ish
Yeah.
years, 3-ish years,
Yeah.
but still
And I always think about the Thursdays. I'm like, oh, I got nothing going on, but I'm tired.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then I'm like,
You-
damn it, I should have gone.
yeah, and you worked here, and then you got to drive home, and then you got to turn around and drive back, and then
yeah.
how many hours do you want to spend on the road today? I get it, dude. I get it,
Yeah,
because I
no,
live
I
like a half an hour away,
Yeah,
and it's.
I regret.
I mean, but
Some
the
of
best
those I
part about
missed.
those Thursday night jam nights, I'll tell you what, there was a couple times where I was like, I'm so busy with schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like sitting at home, then all of a sudden I I got everything done. It's 10:45.
You make it.
The jam nights are till midnight, right? And you
Yeah.
get in the car and you just haul ass down there. You know, and it's the craziest thing because
Yeah.
I would show up and Jeremy'd be like, "You been here this whole time?" It's like, "No," and he's like, "You gonna get up there?"
Come on,
Like,
get up here,
yeah.
Pete. Yeah.
Yep. So he'd let me get up there, and
Yeah.
I'd just play a couple songs real quick, and then just be like, "All right, who started the night off on the guitar? You did.
Yeah.
Get up here, and you got to help finish this off." And I just hand it right
And
back over to him.
Kudos to Jeremy too. He just did a hell of a job with
Dude,
that.
yeah,
you
he
know?
worked so hard at that, and he always found
Yeah.
people to come in every
Yeah.
single
and
month.
he knew too, like if there was a shortage of guitar players or singers, I mean, he'd be up there the whole night. If he
The
had to be.
whole night.
Yeah.
I actually discussed this in the podcast I just recorded. It's not out yet. It will be by the time I release this one. But like Jeremy just has a work ethic about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unmistakable, man. Especially when you go live and play places. He's one of those guys that's just like, dude, people are still standing here. I mean, we could take a break, but let's
Yeah.
just keep playing, and you
Yeah.
can just go 3-4 hours straight, just
Yeah.
nonstop.
And it's I mean, he's a busy man too.
Yeah.
But I actually I was in Brutal Republic for a summer. Yeah, it's been probably over 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Great summer though. I
Yep,
mean, just
yep.
getting to play with Jeremy.
Mhm.
Because growing up in the area,
Yeah.
he still is the guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna hate me for saying it, but he's like the king of Fort Dodge. Because he's
Dude,
just
Yeah, he's been the staple of Fort
he
Dodge
like
music.
established the scene, and he's no matter how much it's changed, he's always been there, and he's been like the guy.
Dude, I had a band in high school, and he was like hitting me up to come down here and play shows with him when I had a
Yeah.
band in high school.
Yeah.
And we were one of those, like, we only play covers, and, like, we can cover, like, a half an hour
Yeah.
tops.
Yeah.
So we were just, like,
Yeah.
kids and stuff. But he's always been willing to invite people in and keep the scene
Yeah.
going. Anything,
It's just
anything.
great to even just talking to him, not even talking about music, just he's just
Down to earth, fun loving
yeah,
guy.
yeah. You just kind of forget about everything and just it's fun chatting with him. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, he deserves a lot of props. For,
yeah. I mean, for as many times as he's been mentioned on this podcast,
I'm sure.
it seems like it's about every third,
Yeah.
third episode or so.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's a reason why.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. But hopefully. There's a lot more venues in town now, though. I mean, like,
Yeah, there are.
you can play at.
There's a couple breweries,
Yeah.
winery
Yeah.
or wineries.
Yeah, back in the day of, before we started recording, I was telling you about the metal band I was in
Yep,
back, and
yep.
we would always play at Eagles Landing.
Yep.
And it just seemed like that was like
That used
kind
to
of the only place.
That used to be the only place,
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
Dude, I remember being in high school and like Bob Johnson used to take me to jam nights.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I went to a couple up there too. Now I think about it.
and-
Yeah,
And like that's where I like originally had met like Eric Nelson and
Yeah.
stuff like that when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and it was
yeah.
dude,
Was Chris running those?
I think Chris was.
running those. That's
Uh-huh.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, oh god, I just it's kind of crazy to sit back and reminisce on this, and like you've been involved consistently longer than I have, so you definitely have your fingers on the pulse a little bit better than I do. But it's just kind of crazy to think back that like, oh man, if you go back about 10 years, it was at Spanky's, or,
Right.
or,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
then
or
it-
like the Hayloft.
I actually don't remember the Hayloft. And I was talking to
Played
someone,
there a couple times.
I was talking to someone recently. I never even went to the Larimar Ballroom while it was open here.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
never.
They had a few too.
Yeah, dude, they had a handful of shows there too.
Yeah.
Not to mention like fights and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. But like, we're talking about when this airs in a couple days, Riddled will be down at Sneakers.
This is going to air a week from Thursday.
Yeah. So,
that would be the
18th.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
okay. So the Saturday.
Yeah. So that's when I have the jazz trio gig, and then I gotta bust down Central Avenue to Sneakers.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
But there, River Hops here.
Yep.
Shiny Top.
Uh-huh.
I mean, just other places that are having live music, which is cool.
Yeah,
you know?
there seems to be a resurgence around here. People enjoy having somebody, even if you're just in the corner playing an acoustic guitar, and not the focal point of the night.
Yeah, I know at JoJo's just right here. They'll squeeze in a couple dudes with a guitar.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's sweet. So
That's so cool.
it's nice to see. Junkyard in Barnum.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ashton's got a lot of stuff
Yep,
going on there.
Yeah, he's always got shows there.
Yeah.
There's a jam night every Tuesday there
Yeah,
that Clint
yeah.
Riedel hosts.
Clint? Oh, yeah. Yep.
Love me some Clint Riedel.
Yeah.
While we're talking about shows, do you have any other shows booked with either
I'll get
RWC
the
or
amp up here.
or the Jay Clyde Band,
So-
or with your little jazz trio that I
so
just learned
this
about?
coming weekend, which by the time this airs will have already passed, but
Yep.
we're at the Junkyard in Barnum. Riddled is.
You should talk into the mic.
Into the mic, sir. The 18th.
Yep.
So we got the Jazz Trio at River Hops, and then Riddled was down at Sneakers. Weekend after that, Jay Clyde, Friday the 24th is at Lytton Gala Days, and then 25th, Riddled with Class, is at Lytton Gala Days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually
Back
pretty
to back
cool.
there,
So you get to go back to back on that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember talking to Nick about this. He said you might as well just call it the Merritt Brothers Day.
Yeah. I mean, Greg and I just set up a tent or something, hang out there. I mean, you can see here, like on our. I mean, that's this summer.
Oh man, it's just booked solid.
But it's fun. It's a great way to spend the summer.
Yeah, and
travel and.
Like I was telling you, like it's finals week. I took a booking like in the middle of the week during finals
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
And it sucks. Like I got out of school, had to cut out of work early, and drove down there and played a show, and drove back, got home at like midnight or later, and then you go to school the next day for more finals, and it's just like. But I
did that once in high school. It was finals week, and it was like a Wednesday night, and Unearth was playing in Des Moines.
Nice.
So we went to Unearth, and then. Show up at school the next day for like a world history final or something.
Yeah,
but
I absolutely.
It was worth it.
I love doing that during school. It's like skipping class and going to that stuff. As far as Jay Clyde Band, you got Facebook.
We got Facebook.
Instagram, I believe.
Yes.
I think you have an Instagram.
Yes.
But no Twitter. And
no Twitter that I know of.
There might be one. Like I want to say there may be one.
Maybe yeah.
But
I'm not the social media guy.
I'll tell you what. If I find it, I'll dump it in post
do
production.
it. Yeah.
But your Facebook was just at Jay Clyde Band,
yep,
right?
Yep. And you can find our EP we released. God, it's been about a year now. We got it on Spotify. We have it on iTunes.
Yeah, dude. I like when I was talking with Ron Lee. I'm not sure. He said it's online, and I was just like, all right, I'll check it out. And then I went and found it on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I was just like, son of a
And we
bitch.
just released a live video. We recorded it at Shoreside in Manson.
Yeah,
that's kind of that's kind of Jay Clyde's home base. And we played New Year's Eve there for the past I don't know how many years, but
is that We Run? That's the one.
Yeah,
dude. That's a killer song.
Yep.
Opening lyrics to that easily get stuck in your head.
Yeah,
dude, it's a good one.
Yeah, Corey he's the lead singer and the wordsmith.
Dude,
so,
it's great stuff.
Yeah, he writes some good stuff.
I gotta be honest, like you called it like country or country rock.
Well, it's kind of like almost like a southern rock type feel too.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, it's country adjacent, but it's not country.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like when people are just like, oh, you don't like country, but you like Leonard Skinner, and it's like, well, Leonard Skinner's not country. Bad Company's not. Country, man, like
now Molly Hatchet though.
Yeah, no. Hey, Molly Hatchet's some Trans Am driving sons of bitches there. Flirt with disaster.
You're right. There's a label for everything, and I couldn't even tell you what we would be. We just kind of.
It's like the hardest when you try to like pigeonhole your own band, because you know that you don't quite fit into this genre.
Yeah.
And it's tough not fitting exactly into a genre because everyone's like, "What kind of music you play?" And it's like you said, it's like country and it's like rock.
Yeah,
it's somewhere in there.
Even if they don't like have a name for it, it's like if you mix this with this and all that. But I feel like I should shout out to the rest of the Jay Clyde boys. So we talked about Ron.
Yep.
My brother Greg.
Yep.
Corey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Neil Anders.
Okay.
And he, actually at his house is where we recorded the album. So
sweet.
Yeah, he is a recording whiz.
Dude, that's awesome.
But he himself is just extremely talented, and he just had a solo album of his. He released it a couple months ago. But I mean, definitely check it out too. I mean, he's great songwriter, great singer, great composer. I mean, definitely check him out. He does a lot of solo stuff throughout the summer too.
Oh, cool!
Just him and a guitar. He's played at River Hops a bunch too.
Nice,
but yeah, he's great.
Dude,
check him out. Riddled Boys, we mentioned them, and
I actually just took my first booking to play acoustic by myself at a place.
All right.
And if you're listening to this, it was last night. You missed it.
Okay.
So
so it's on a Tuesday.
it's on a Wednesday
It's on a
because this
Wednesday.
comes out on Thursday.
Oh,
morning,
right.
so,
You got it.
So yeah, it was on a Wednesday night, but it's
So where did this happen?
well, it was at the Wine Walk in Humboldt,
Okay.
and it went awesome. I did so.
It
good.
went
I did so good.
Just perfect.
No, I'm actually recording this ahead of time, and I'm super nervous because
Yeah.
I've never played. I never covered 2 hours by
So
myself.
2 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's not going to be impossible to do.
Yeah.
And I've got some tricks up my sleeve because
There
I'm
you
not.
go.
I'm not just going to sit there with an acoustic.
Yeah.
I've got like Digitech looper pedals
Right,
and stuff.
yeah.
I'm going to get kind of fun. with
Singing
it, so-
involved too.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
So
okay.
I'm going to bust out some songs that aren't traditionally acoustic songs and force them in there.
Make it work, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some goofy stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot of cool like programs you can have on your tablet where you just have it like on a stand
Mhm.
and it'll just scroll through the chords, lyrics. I mean,
Yep.
you could probably learn something on the spot too
Yeah.
if you know it well enough.
I'm gonna attempt to make some songs on the spot with like just a looper and
Yeah.
and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be at the art building in Humboldt,
Yeah.
so let's make some art on
That's
the fly.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Wine Walk, okay.
did we hit everybody up in Jay Clyde?
I think we got. Oh well, our sound guy Mark Gales.
There you
he
go.
is
You
the,
can't- You can't not mention the sound guy.
he's the sixth member of the band.
Might as well be.
No,
dude.
he's oh god, it's great having Mark.
He's good. He's good.
Very good. Well, yeah, Patty's and
Yeah,
stuff. I
yeah.
mean, he's been working with us for a few years, and I mean, it makes our lives easier just because we'd used to go set up the sound. Like I think we sound good. I think they can hear Corey singing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you get somebody's girlfriend to go stand out in the back
Right,
of the house. Can
yeah.
What's it just sound good? And they're like, yeah.
But then
yeah,
you get
sounds good.
yeah, then you get people come up. We can't hear the vocals.
Yeah, it's like okay, well, crap.
But
all right.
having him there, we have a pretty big PA, so he's just back there at the helm, just EQing, mixing. If something goes wrong, he's there to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like you get feedback happening and you have to like stop the song.
Yeah,
just to
exactly. If it's bad enough, you just have to
kill
everybody
it.
stop. Everybody stop.
Then you try to figure out where the hell it's coming from.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
I get you.
yeah, if anytime you're able to have a sound guy who's good at it, by God, go for it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it makes life a lot easier, and
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's just a lot of stress off your shoulders too.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Or like if you book a gig at a venue that has the house PA,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was great at Patty's.
Yep.
Algona,
Yep.
them having theirs, that was nice.
Like I've been to some places that have a house PA,
Yeah.
but it's not manned.
Oh, okay.
So you have to like, in some situations, plug everything in still even.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know how these people like places trust musicians to come in
Yeah.
there and just start randomly plugging stuff in
When,
and hoping it works. But
Back in the day, back in the metal band days, we'd go play at House of Bricks.
yep.
And like back then, that was like a huge deal to you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
Yep,
I went to
yep.
a lot of shows there, and like, we gonna play here, and
Yep.
they had a house sound guy too, and that was
Yep.
like the first time experiencing that. So you feel like extra special.
Yeah, you feel like a king when somebody's.
But
twisting knobs
yeah,
for
this this kind of greasy fat guy comes in, and he just like slowly hooks your mics up, and he just like points at each drum. And he gets you set, and he just kind of leaves. But even that was like, this is awesome.
you. Yeah, this is so cool. This is
Yeah.
so cool.
It's a sound guy.
Oh,
you know,
man.
it was great.
Yeah, the place I played at recently was Fremont. Not the Wine Walk, but we were talking about how I played a show last night.
Right, yeah, yeah.
As of the recording. And that was at the Fremont. They got the old House of Bricks sign in the Fremont.
Really?
So
That's cool.
That's kind of neat.
That was a fun place. I think I saw August Burns Red there.
Yep.
Like after Thrill Seeker came out, that was a big deal. Yeah, a lot of stuff there. But
yeah,
it's
man.
cool. Like Woolly's there now.
Yep.
They get a lot of neat stuff. I've seen a lot of good bands at Seven Flags.
Seven Flags Event
I
Center.
saw Mastodon there.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, I missed that one. I was so
was
mad.
awesome,
Dude, Mastodon
yeah.
is so good.
Yeah,
It's I don't know what kind of music would you call Mastodon?
Oh man, Greg and I always called it like stoner metal, but it's like it's
kind
kind
of
of like,
is.
but it's like it's just got this cool
like-
groove to
it's,
it. Yeah,
It's like the world's most palatable stoner metal.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's their new album. Was it Oblivion? Is that the?
Yeah, it was one of the newer ones.
Gosh,
They've had one out after, but Yeah, that one
Was,
exploded.
dude,
yeah.
that was so good, so good.
Yeah.
Their music videos are so much fun.
Well,
to
like
watch.
the topics they write about, is just it's almost like science fiction, but like they're so good. And just finally getting to see them live was really cool.
Having 3 singers too.
When Braun started singing,
it ends up adding a really big dynamic to what's going on because they don't sing at the same time; they'll switch off and on, even within their own songs. And it's pretty mind blowing stuff.
Because when I started listening to them, it was when Blood Mountain came out. They were still kind of thrashy, you know.
Yep.
And then they just kind of progressed into what they have now, and it's. I mean, if I have nothing to listen to, I'll always go to like just Mastodon playlist. And It's great.
Heavy and intricate,
and it grooves. It grooves so good. It's awesome. But another one of the favorite bands. So
let's throw a plug at Riddled with Class before we forget to
Riddled. Yes, sir.
Riddled with Class is Riddled with Class on Facebook.
Yep.
And
if you type in RWC.
Yep, that'll show up. It's RWC Riddled with Class.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's at Riddled with Class. You guys have Instagram, I believe it's at Riddled with Class.
I think, yeah.
I'd have to double check. I'm not 100% sure, but there is also a Twitter that hasn't been used almost.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like RWC_music.
I'll get on Nick about that.
We discussed that in a previous podcast.
Gotcha.
But so you guys do have social media. I saw that your events page on there is plenty busy. The Jay Clyde Band one has events on their page as well. Yeah. So those are probably the 2 best bets as far as places to find the bands that you're going to be in.
There's a good chance if you live in, within 100 miles from here, you'll probably see my dumb face in your town at some point. So,
yeah, actually, I just pulled up the Jay Clyde Band page, and it is insanity. Like, there's like 20 shows on here. So, you guys are busy. You guys are plenty busy.
Yeah. But summertime, that's definitely our gig. A lot of town festivals, the old county fair gig's always good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, playing a county fair gig is much better if you are a small guy on your way up than it is if you're a big guy on your way down. Like, you don't end up like a silver chair or something. And
right,
We're just going from county fair to county fair, dude.
Yeah,
No offense to silver chair. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like throw them under the bus.
Right,
But yeah.
I get it, yeah. That's funny, but no, but it'll definitely be a busy summer. So.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of being busy, like I'm glad, I'm really happy that you took a little time out to do this.
Yeah, you bet, man.
Do a little recording.
Yeah, I know we kind of discussed it a while ago, and maybe by the end of the summer, if you need someone else, we can kind of recap what happened.
Dude, I'd love to talk to you at the end of the summer
and
hear about what you had going on, because I'm always looking for guests. It's like the grind never ends on this. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So that's a call to arms. If there's anybody out there listening that wants to come out here and talk about something, I'll give you an open platform to come say just about whatever you want.
But next time we'll do it in Humboldt, just because I want to see your studio up there. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Imagine this place, but junkier.
It's all right. That's how they start.
Yeah, dude. It's. I talked about it with Nick. It's like it's funny what you can do. Like you just go spend like $40 on Amazon, and you're like, I got a studio, and I just attach it all to like a used table.
Man, if you had a tin can and like a reel-to-reel recorder.
It would still be awesome, dude. Yeah,
it's something to get your music down or something,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
And that's like literally all I started it for was this. But now, like you said, I can record music now because it's just an interface. So it's pretty wild stuff. But like I've got dual headphone setups with like plug the laptop into a TV so you can see what I'm doing.
And speaking of this show. Which episode number would this be?
Oh God, this would probably be 35.
35.
Yep.
See, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's wild to think I've done 35 of them already.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that like every time I upload an episode, my brain is just like, it's like wow.
Because the other day, I subscribed to you on YouTube and
thanks, man. Thanks. Dude,
I'll scroll through. I'm like, God, there's a lot more of these than the last time I checked. So.
Yeah, they just keep coming out. And I'll tell you what, like I had some trouble finding musicians for a while, but like luckily I ran into a comedian during one of them.
Oh, nice.
That's the Chris Schlichting podcast.
Okay.
That's a laugh riot.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one
out.
Dude,
it's so funny.
Yeah, I'll check that one out.
I ended up going to a podcast meetup with a bunch of other Iowa podcasters. Okay. Ran into a gal that started the meetup and started like a podcast network for us all to kind of like talk to each other and promote one another. And she's got a comedy podcast. Hers was funny too.
Yeah.
That's as far as I think. I think
Yeah.
that's still the only female I've done on the podcast.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I interviewed her. It was tons of fun. God, it was,
Huge.
I mean,
yeah.
so like it is kind of fun. I don't always just do musicians, and when I step
Yeah.
out of the realm,
Yeah.
it seems to be a home run almost every
Well,
single
you know,
time.
you probably get to learn from them too. What they
Yeah.
doing podcasts. And stuff. My girlfriend, all she does is listen to podcasts. That's her thing. So and
Yeah,
she listens to you too.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
I don't know if she'll listen to this one because she has to hear my annoying voice every day anyway. So
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I used to listen to every single episode thoroughly, like sometimes
Yeah.
twice, and now it's just like, did we say anything bad? No. And it's just like I'm not even going to edit it then.
I'm not gonna worry about it,
if you're
yeah.
cool with it. Like, so.
yeah, that's
But,
cool.
so I started just taking them as they come.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I've only edited a couple based on like people's requests, but
Yeah,
it makes sense though. It just
you can. Yeah,
it just takes more time to edit.
do it.
as
I
well.
don't care, man. You do whatever.
I'm just gonna take sound clips and just like
yeah.
piece words together so it
Yeah.
sounds like an audio.
My butt is hairy.
Yeah. Oh, that is so awesome.
Editing is a hell of a thing, man. So
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, we've covered an hour.
Yeah.
We've given shout outs to the 3 big bands. that
and if
you're
I
in.
missed you, I'm sorry. I'll get you next time.
Yeah. Go see. What do you have a name for the jazz trio?
It's just Gabriel Alves Trio. That's kind of what we
I like it.
go by. Yeah,
yeah.
simple.
So that's Riddled with Class, Jay Clyde Band, Gabriel Aldez.
Alves
with a V?
Yes,
Alves
yes.
Trio.
Very Brazilian.
And then, I mean, if you're in the Fort Dodge area and you check out like the Carl King Band, what was the other one that you do?
Fort Dodge Symphony.
You do more for the symphony than the
yeah.
Carl King Band.
I actually play at the college still too. I didn't discuss that.
Oh, really?
So like they're encore singers.
Nice.
Greg and I play in their pit, so
Dude, that's
always
cool.
So it's cool getting to go back and do that.
Yeah.
That's for another time, but yeah.
You should have said something while I still had a nice student ID and could have gotten into those
Oh
things
yeah.
for free. I totally
Oh,
would have.
You could just walk in, bro.
I totally would have just been like, "Hey!" Right in the middle of the show, just yell from the
Yeah.
balcony, "Hey,
Yeah.
I know
If
that
not-
guy."
They can always come into Reman's because we basically live here. So
Yeah. Well, thanks again for
You
doing
bet,
the
man.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Give everybody the shout outs and dude,
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to sit down and talk
Yeah,
to you and actually
finally.
finally
Yeah.
meet you and stuff.
Yep.
So thank you very much. man.
killer. All right.
Hey, there it is. 35's in the bank. Huge shout out to Jake Merritt for doing the podcast with me. Wildly entertaining. This is probably one of my favorite things I do is actually get to sit down and listen to everybody tell their story. And everybody's story is very unique to them. And man, I'll tell you what, this is a fun one. Getting to hear about I don't have parents that were necessarily musical, so I don't know exactly what it would be like to have parents that were musical that kind of pushed me into this and kind of kept me going and on the straight and narrow, or just at least something to kind of drive my passion a little bit more, because I'm out here all alone. My sister is a heck of a musician. She plays piano. I don't know how much she's been playing lately, but man, growing up, she was amazing. So that was kind of my competition growing up was my sister. But we played different instruments through our whole lives, and my sister is a pretty good musician too. But this one was about Jake. Let's keep talking about Jake. Check out all his bands online. Make sure you go to all of the Facebook pages in the description below to check out all of his bands. We're talking Jay Clyde Band. Just you name it. Fort Dodge Symphony. Are you serious, man? This guy is so busy, and he works in a music shop, so that's even cooler. It's just the eats, sleeps, breathes all day, all night music. That's all it is. And these are the cool people in the community that it's fun to get to know and actually go out and watch them play. So I can't wait to go check him out live again. Patty's Pubs is gone, but I'm sure there's going to be a shot at a jam night somewhere, or maybe I'll just go check him out live in one of his bands. That's always a good recommendation. If you're listening to this, you may or may not have saw me play last night in Humboldt, Iowa. I played a solo show, and I'm actually pre-recording this, so I don't know how well it went, but I'm going to tell you this. I bet it was awesome. I sure, I put a lot of work into this, considering it was, getting close to the end of finals week and everything, and I was kind of trying to gear down school and kind of trying to gear up this music show, and it's going to be a fun one. I'm bringing a decent amount of equipment down to a nice little room, and I'm going to try not to blow everyone's eardrums out, and I'm just going to keep it nice and easy and play some blues music and some acoustic guitar for people, and maybe even bust out that band in a box that I had at the Rockin' Picnic a year or so ago with Dan Blair. So, check that show out. There's all sorts of good stuff online. If you want to go to www.audiblefarm.com, That's right. It's a website. You can go there. You can find all the Audible Farm stuff as far as websites, all of our SoundCloud links. Everything is there. It's all there. Every drop of it. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you can go to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Type in @Audible Farm. That's us. We're there. Check it out. You know, the benefit of audiblefarm.com is probably the fact that the Iowa Podcast Network helped me set up the page, and they actually put a form on there. So if you fill out the form on there, it will email me at audiblefarm@gmail.com, and you can let me know if you want to be a guest. If you want to be a guest on the show, I'd love to have you. I would. I'm, believe it or not, they kind of accordion back and forth, and I'm stacking up guests, and I'm pre-recording things weeks out now, and I don't like to do that too much, but I do also enjoy having the free time to do what I need to do in my life. So if you want to be a guest, hop in line. Let's do it. I would love to talk to you. If you want to go to YouTube, there's podcasts there. There's band videos. There's more. I mean, I've dipped a couple guitars, and videos for those are there. You just go to youtube.com, type in Audible Farm, look for the piggy. Pretty sure we're the first response. We usually are. And then just click subscribe. Boom. You'll never miss another video ever again. Make sure you leave us a review. I'm sure the Apple podcast listeners can do that. I'm not sure about every other streaming service. Give it a valiant effort. Leave us a review. Thumbs up, thumbs down, 5 stars, 1 star. Tell everybody you love us. Tell nobody you love us. It's all good. I really appreciate everybody for listening, and I super appreciate Jake Merritt for sitting down and doing a podcast with me. We had discussed it a couple of times, and we finally got it done. So super shout out to Jake Merritt. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Next week, there's going to be another great episode. So tune in next week, too. Appreciate it. Check everybody next week. Peace.